They say every day is for the thief, one day for the owner of the house. But ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, has reversed the role. It is now every day for the owner of the house. If you're involved in bribery, over-invoicing, or any shady deal, the day of reckoning has come. ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, is watching you. If you're reported for any corrupt practice, you'll be investigated, prosecuted, and punished. Corruption is harmful to our nation. Join the campaign against it by reporting any corrupt practice to ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Let we join hands with ICPC, make them better.
Let's make Nigeria great again.
ICPC, they watch you.
One hand for corruption.
Break the chain of corruption now. Don't give, don't take. This message is brought to you by ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Welcome to Corruption Must Go, ICPC's weekly television program. My name is Murna Barnabas Atiaye. Bribery, nepotism, tribalism, indiscipline, forgery, age falsification, etc. are some of the corrupt practices that are prevalent in government ministries, departments, and agencies. Over the years, this has in no small measure reduced the effectiveness or efficiency of the civil service. It is important for public officers in MDAs to maintain integrity in all their dealings, as this will pave way for not only a dedicated, efficient, and ethical civil service, but also one that emphasizes transparency and accountability. Today on the program, we turn our spotlight on some of the tools the Commission uses to entrench these values and prevent corruption in MDAs. We also bring you drama, ethics and values, and many more. But first, Joy Aja is standing by with anti-corruption stories. Over to you, Joy.
Thank you, Murna. Welcome to this segment on anti-corruption stories. I am Joy Aja. Strengthened by the success of the system study exercises it has carried out in some federal and state government ministries, departments, and agencies so far, ICPC has revved up its efforts in this regard by involving the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, OAGF, and the Bureau of Public Procurement, BPP, in a special project system study it is embarking on. The project will examine teaching hospitals, federal medical centers, Nigeria Export Processing Zones Authority, and the Rural Electrification Agency. To this end, 4 special teams comprising personnel from OAGF, BPP, and ICPC were inaugurated at the headquarters of the Commission recently. Addressing the team members during the inauguration, the ICPC Acting Chairman, Dr. Musa Usman Abubakar, said the project was in line with ICPC's mandate as stipulated in Section 6, Subsection B, C, and D of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000.
Something we've been doing as part of our mandate to prevent corruption in the country. This one we're undertaking now is special in the sense that there was never a time we involved, other sister agencies, but now. So for that, we consider it very important that the outcome of the study and review will, at the end of the day, be more objective, when it is properly executed. So before I inaugurate you, once again, I thank you very much for finding time to, come to the Commission. Thank you.
System study and review is a preventive duty of ICPC as stipulated in Section 6 of its enabling laws. It involves the examination of an MDA's systems and processes in order to identify loopholes and gaps that make them prone to corruption. Where such weaknesses are found, ICPC is obligated to direct and supervise reforms to strengthen the system against corruption. The acting chairman of ICPC, Dr. Musa Usman Abubakar, has stated that anti-corruption and transparency units in MDAs were not constituted to challenge the authority of agencies, but to instill transparency and accountability in the systems through staff sensitization, monitoring budget implementation, among other duties. Dr. Abubakar said this through Mr. Justin Kwatsier of the Corruption Monitoring and Evaluation Department of ICPC at the inauguration and induction of acting members of the Nigerian Meteorological Agency (NIMET) in Abuja recently.
The realization of this event has added impetus to the efforts of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Military Offences Commission in promoting and encouraging the anti-corruption crusade in establishments of government and strengthening the existing relationship between the Commission and NIMET. The Commission also recognizes the importance of NIMET as a critical agency which ensures the safety of lives and properties of citizens, also protecting the economic resources of the nation in critical areas through accurate issuance of weather and climate forecasts. The growing efficiency of the agency's operations over the years, and most especially under the current leadership, has been impressive and duly recognized, thus resulting in Nigeria being elevated to the status of a permanent representative to the World Meteorological Agency Organization, WMO, and the recent election of the DG as a member of the Executive Council of WMO. With this, Nigeria is now the only Anglophone country representing West Africa on the Executive Council, which is a feat that is not only commendable, but also shown that the agency is committed to excellence in its operations.
The Director General of NIMET, Professor Abubakar Sani Mashi, referred to ACTU as a vital tool within MDAs to assist ICPC and the entire nation in the fight against corruption and culture of impunity.
We recognize that the ACTU is a vital tool to the ICPC within MDAs to aid them and indeed entire nation in the fight against corruption and the culture of impunity, which poses a great danger to the Nigerian public service and national development. We also recognize that the fight against corruption will only succeed when all hands are on deck. Accordingly, in addition to the duty to establish ACQ in the agency, NIMET management is well aware that this unit requires the cooperation and support in order to successfully carry out its assigned duties.
That will be all on this segment. Corruption Must Go continues with Myrna. Stay with us.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome, sir.
Hello. I need a room.
You say?
I need a room.
Hi. Okay, we don't get room again. All of them don't be there.
Well, of all my toiling around, I need a room to rest my head.
All the rooms are booked, sir.
Well, right, okay.
What's going on here?
Nothing, ma'am.
Nothing. But I heard you say to that man that there are no more rooms.
Madam, no more rooms, ma.
But we still have 2 rooms left.
Madam, now so we're going to donate room anyhow. No, we'll get one we go use do PP for our pocket.
Are we not in business?
Madam, now our business be this.
This is corruption.
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country.
If you're just tuning in, this is Corruption Must Go. In 2003, ICPC established Anti-Corruption and Transparency Units, ACTUs, to serve as focal points for the Commission's corruption prevention effort in MDAs. ACTUs perform all the duties of the Commission except prosecution. To further educate us on the functions of ACTUs in MDAs is a senior officer, Corruption Monitoring and Evaluation Department, ICPC.
You know, the ACTUs actually are anti-corruption and transparency units, which the ICPC has established in government ministries, departments, and agencies. We believe that the ICPC alone cannot handle corruption issues, as desired. So we need assistance. So we established them to help us to carry out the functions of the Commission as contained in our Enabling Act, Section 6A to F. Some of the functions include to carry out investigations, but we call it preliminary investigation. Then 2, to undertake system study and review of corruption-prone processes and procedures, and also to enlighten the workforce on and against corrupt practices, to monitor budget implementation in the MDAs, and also to enlist support of management and the workforce. Apart from that, we talk about punishment, we talk about compliance. We also instructed them to reward those who specialize in, not specialize as a matter of fact, but those who have done very well. Yes, we reward them. So there's a reward system that they have to institute and bring out people who have been doing very well, and also to monitor budget implementation. I hope I mentioned that already.
Yes.
To monitor the budgets of their MDAs. Oh yes, we do. They are supposed to carry out sensitization activities even on their own, sensitizing the staff of the MDAs. This year alone, we have attended over 30 of them, where we go, we enlighten them, we educate them on corruption-related issues. We also have our academy, the Anti-Corruption Academy of Nigeria in Kefi, where they go there and they are sensitized on their roles and responsibilities. Yes, we created desk officers from the Commission. We have about 183 desk officers that monitor the ACTUs, both here and then in our state offices. Like one desk officer could handle like 3 or 4 anti-corruption transparency units. So there are many liaisons between the Commission and the ACTUs. Apart from that, we have instruments that enable us to monitor the activities of the ACTUs. For example, the ethics and compliance scorecard. So we monitor ethics and compliance, both at the management level, financial system, administrative system. Then also we have the ACTU reporting template, which harvests reports from the ACTUs, and then we go over it. Of course, we also visit. When we hear complaints of a specific nature, we visit them to verify and then to remediate whatever was amiss. So we monitor them very closely.
The Anti-Corruption Academy of Nigeria, ACAN, the training arm of ICPC, is another tool used by the Commission for the prevention of corruption. It organizes certificate courses to train public officers on good governance, integrity, accountability, transparency, ethics, and all issues relating to corruption and corrupt practices. The Academy was also established to build up a body of knowledge that will facilitate the development of knowledge-based anti-corruption policies in the country. Provost of the Academy, Professor Shola Akinriade, throws more light on this.
Sir, please can you tell us how you can measure the level of the various interventions by the Academy in reducing corruption in MDAs in terms of training?
The Anti-Corruption Academy has focused on building internal capacity in agencies, in MDAs, to be able to address their own problems internally. There is only so much that anti-corruption agencies can do directly, visiting every agency. We need buy-in from various agencies. But we also discovered that people do not even understand what they're supposed to be fighting. Many do not even recognize the symptoms, the risks, the corruption risks, the things that can help them to detect corruption-prone activities ahead of it happening. So our activities as a training school has focused on building the capacity of MDAs, particularly their actors and other officials, in recognizing corruption-prone processes and then how to tackle them using their own internal resources. We have trainings that are focused directly on actors, the anti-corruption transparency units. But we also have trainings that cut across to other professionals, like the procurement officers, like the finance officers, like even admin officers. There are various training programs that address their needs. And when we take the issues, we look at different areas for different trainings. So that, for instance, by the time we did the training on whistleblowing, the whistleblowing act was yet to be passed because we're ahead in terms of what people need to be able to address this issue. So that is how we have been doing it. Fortunately, we've worked on open programs in which we invite agencies, but we're also working with individual MDAs who we reach out to, or those who reach out to us directly that should come and train their staff. We work with the Nigerian Institute of Mining and Geosciences, we work with the Port Harcourt Refinery Limited, we work with the Ministry of Mines and Steel. There are quite a number of agencies that we've trained their own staff directly for their own agencies, and we also help them to develop the integrity plan, which they will use to measure the level of integrity compliance within the agency. The next level for us is to see how effective these trainings have been. Some of the open responses we got, particularly through our evaluation forms, confirm levels of knowledge acquired. But knowledge acquired is the same thing as impact. That is, are they making use of what they've learned? And that is the next level of our own activity now, because we've developed an instrument now to start testing very shortly. All those agencies that have sent trainees to us, or that we have trained their staff, either at the academy or at their quarters or in their own offices, we want to reach out to them to respond to our questionnaire to determine the level of impact. So it's not just enough to build people's capacity, but we also need to know that they are making use of the knowledge, and is affecting the work of the agency. When we went to Plateau State, we had an anti-corruption summit for them. But ahead of that, they sent their legislators to us for training. And by the time we got to Plateau State for the next level of our engagement with them, they were relating to us, mentioning how the things they learned affected the way they perform their work in subsequent months. And the deputy governor who was with us said each time they're doing something, that's not what ICPC taught us. And for me, it shows that people were responding. That's what ICPC said we should do it. That for me is the kind of things we want to see. So we are doing our best, but it takes the participants at our training programs going back to their respective places of work to put into practice what they've learned. Like I always said, we have the capacity to fight corruption if we have the mind to do it. If we make up our mind that my agency, my ministry, we are going to fight corruption, it will be done. It's not magic or miracle. It's a question of determination and commitment that we must do things differently. And that's what we are building the people, and we're also challenging them. But don't surrender to that mentality that we cannot fight corruption in this country. We may not be able to eradicate, no society will be able to eradicate, but we can minimize, and that's what we are striving for.
Can you please give us a rough estimate of how many individuals you've trained in the academy?
Well, I can't say in the academy how many people we have trained, because we've done trainings for agencies in their own locations.
Okay, so how many people you have trained?
As of June this year, it's over 8,000, about 8,400. Give or take about 8,500 as of June this year, and still counting.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
As the saying goes, prevention is better than cure. We must therefore see corruption as a health risk to our development as a country and do everything within our power to prevent it. If we stand for what is right and are accountable for our actions, then we can prevent this disease called corruption. That will be all on this edition. Remember, you can make your reports, suggestions and enquiries on any of the toll-free numbers as shown on the screen, or visit our website www.icpc.gov.ng. Let's all join hands to break the chain of corruption in Nigeria. I am Murna Barnabas Atiayi. Thank you for watching.